Kansas City's visual arts scene has been getting lots of recognition in recent years, but you know, our musical assets are getting noticed too.
Yeah, The Deli is a music magazine based in New York with online hubs in other locales, and now Kansas City is one of them.
Its editor is a busy young woman named Michelle Bacon, and when she's not keeping her eye out for hot acts and new bands, she also finds time to play plenty of music of her own.
Producer-videographer John McGrath has been working late to keep up with one of the key cogs in Kansas City's live music circuit.
Women's pants have a lot of fake pockets, which I think is stupid.
Wow. Gosh, I had the real dirt on Michelle Bacon.
Got any bass in there, monitor?
Probably not. It's a lot of pressure, all these cameras on me. I know. Yeah, I'm allergic to alcohol, so it's
Are
like...
you really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It makes my face turn red, and it's very unpleasant, so... I'm Michelle Bacon, and I'm a musician. I'm in 4 bands: The Philistines, Dolls on Fire, Drew Black and Dirty Electric, and I just joined Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds. Anywhere that I have my computer, I can do it all. I run the local chapter of the Deli magazine. It's based on Kansas City, Lawrence area musicians, bands, promotion. I am at the Folk Store. Yeah, I work at the Folk Store, which is where the Folk Alliance International offices are at. Right now, I'm prepping for the conference, which is coming up at the end of February. I'm pretty much working on sales stuff, and I'm usually sitting there posting stuff about the conference, social media, or talking about other opportunities that we have there, emailing people about sponsoring the conference.
You know, Michelle, you're kind of introverted, but you get up on stage in front of all these people and play the bass or play the drums.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, for one thing, I don't have to talk.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to talk.
Yeah,
That's great.
You're not a lead singer in any bands, I've noticed.
No, that'll never happen. Like when I first started playing, I would get up on stage and I'd just be really nervous. I played drums first, so I would just kind of hide behind there and do my thing and whatever. But then when I had to start playing bass, it was pretty intimidating because, you know, you're up there, people are watching you. People are going to watch you more than they watch the drummer generally. And it was pretty scary, but, you know, I just had to start channeling the energy from the band, and it worked out. I love all the bands I play with, so. You know, it's just a matter of feeling the sound, feeling the chemistry between everybody in the band, and that just kind of comes out when I'm playing. Yeah, I've always wanted to play drums, and I didn't start until probably about 10 years ago. Yeah, it's another thing that I really enjoy doing. It's getting a lot of aggressions out, for one thing. Like we said, you know, I'm a pretty quiet person, so it's a good way for me to, it's a very cathartic act. Yeah, the rhythm section, to me, is the thing that I always gravitate towards, no matter who I'm watching. I think it's just really important, especially in the music that I'm playing, for the rhythm section to be locked in. There's got to be a certain groove to the music with every band that I play in, at least.
And that's Michelle Bacon on the bass!
We did that Rolling Stones tribute together. Not together, but respective bands did it together, and I think it was like right after that he asked me to be in the Philistines, so.
I'd seen her play drums for one band, but then she played bass at that Rolling Stones show, and we were looking for somebody to play bass, and it worked out very well and very quickly. She's an incredibly professional person, a really creative person, and you know, a whole lot of fun to work with.
I'll be running around doing something, I'm sure.
What do you think about her being busy? What is it?
It's good. Michelle loves to be busy all the time.
How'd last night go?
Pretty good. There were a lot of people there that I didn't know, so that's always nice.
What you see is what you get, because it's what you see constantly. She's playing. She's doing something all the time.
You know, I just like to keep occupied, and right now I have a lot of things to occupy my time. A lot of bands, there's always a band rehearsal somewhere or a gig or something like that. And then, you know, working with the deli, I'm always talking to other bands that want me to catch their shows, or I'll hear about a band from somebody else that I want to check out. So I'm pretty much out all the time, and that makes me happy.
So tell me about where we're going, and who we're going to see.
Okay, we're going to visit my grandma. Yeah, she's 101 years old. She's been in this facility for about 2 years. I try to visit her as much as I can, so it's usually once a week, once every couple of weeks, depending on what I have going on, but I'll go see her as much as I can. I hear my grandma. She's a pretty amazing person. She's been my role model for my entire life.
Hi, little Michelle. Should we get that on the floor plate?
Sure. It's always fun to go see her.
I know, but I don't photograph well.
She's probably the most positive person I've ever met too, and once you meet her, you'll find out.
Oh, heavens. Really?
She's made an impact on everybody she meets, and she's very kind and generous, and just the type of person that I've always aspired to be. So she was the first person that held me, and we've had a very special bond ever since. Right?
What's the future for Michelle Bacon?
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm just gonna keep pursuing all of these things that I'm enjoying. I really love playing with other people. I love being able to help in a very small way get other bands out there, just have their name out there and talk about their craft. And I'm gonna do that really as long as I can.